Hello everybody, this is Michael with Gaming Up with the Joneses, and in today's video, I'm going to go over the top 20 board games that I think are the most underrated that I have played and rated myself. I'll tell you what I give it a rating, what the average rating is, and where it ranks on BGG. I wanted to do a top 10 list, but there's so many underrated games that I decided to do a top 20, so you get twice the action. First, I have two honorable mentions that just missed my list, 21 and 22, and that is The Castles of Burgundy and Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Those are both amazing games too. I rank them both 8 out of 10, but they're not too unrated. Their average is like 7.5 out of 10 on BGG, so yeah. BGG is Board Game Geek. I'm sure you probably know that, but yeah. So let's get into it. Starting with number 20, we have Splendor. All right, this is the one you guys can come at me with. I know some people think, okay, Splendor's just a good game, which I would have agreed about a couple months ago. I would have gave it a 7 out of 10, but it has been growing on me. I give it an 8, and now that makes the average 7.42 just a little too low for me, so I'm going to call it a little bit underrated and give it a, that's why it's 20 on my list. It's ranked 204 on BGG. That's probably almost fair. I think it should be in the top 200, so it's a little too low ranked, and that's why it made my 20 Splendor. So let's get into 19. We have Carcassonne. Carcassonne's a tile placement game where literally you draw a tile, you place it, and you put meeples on. I give this one an 8 out of 10 too. I don't know why, it's just fun. It seems like it shouldn't be this good of a game. It's been a classic. It's came out in 1999, I think, or 2000, somewhere over there. I could be wrong, but I think it's somewhere around there. 7.41 is its average rating, so it's off by a little bit. And on Board Game Geek, it's also 209. I would argue this is actually fair. So that's actually fair. Maybe it's less underrated than Splendor in that case. But it's got a little bit bigger differential between my rating of an 8 and the 7.41 that they get. So that's why it's my number 19, Carcassonne. My number 18 is the most pirate thematic game there is. I mean, if you like pirates and you like being, or not even pirates, if you want to be a good guy and sell goods, you can do both. It's a sandboxy game. The world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. If you like Sid Meier's Pirates, the video game, this is that game in a box. It is Merchants and Marauders. Merchants and Marauders is like an amazing pirate game. And the only reason I don't give this a 9 or 10, because I love this game, the only reason I give it an 8 out of 10 is because it does drag on a little bit too long on people's turns, especially if you're buying goods. It can take a lot of time drawing all those cards and stuff. But besides that, this game, if you like pirates, and I love pirates, you're going to see that theme. Pirates are going to be a theme in this video, by the way, because that's not the only one. But it's rated 345 on BGG, and that's just not nice. Like, dude, come on now. Merchants and Marauders belongs, guys. It belongs in the top 150, I think. Maybe not quite 100 because it's kind of a niche thing. You gotta like pirates and stuff. It's better than Splendor. It's better than Carcassonne. It needs to be higher up than them, and it's 345. That is sad. All right, let's go into my number 17. This game is an engine builder game, one of the best mechanisms in board games. I would argue top 2. I love worker placement. I love engine building. This is an engine building game, very simple. A lot of people call it the Splendor Killer. A lot of people call a lot of games the Splendor Killer. This game feels kind of like Splendor, where instead of getting there's a hair in the sky or whatever. Instead of getting a gems like you do in Splendor, you're grabbing marbles, and these marbles are used as energy to make your things go. So you use them to spend to start building your engine with stuff, and it just gets good. So that's my number 17. It's rated 367 on BGG, and that's sad. It is I would say it's equal to Splendor. I used to say it was better, but Splendor's just grown on me, especially after watching the championship match of the World Series of Board Gaming. That match, if you didn't watch that, oof, well, we watched it live. It was great. But yeah, that kind of helped to raise it for me too. Anyway, next is number 16. We have Acquire. Now, this game is new to me. I've barely played it. I learned it at the World Series of Board Gaming, and we played it there twice, and now we just bought it too, so we have it. But man, Acquire, in my opinion, is the Monopoly killer. You never have to play Monopoly ever again. Acquire is so good. So in Acquire, you have a few different areas of a board. It's kind of like a grid, and you have letters and numbers, kind of like Battleship in a way. And you get to put that specific tile where it says in those locations, and you start building hotels. And then if you're the first one to put two next to each other, you get to found the hotel, and you are the owner of it. And on your turn, you can buy 3 shares of anything that's already on the board. So if somebody owns 2 shares of Continental, that's one of the brands, I can buy 3 shares. Boom, now I'm the majority. So if it ever gets sold out, I make them big bucks. So that game is so fun. And honestly, I've only played it twice. I think it can grow on me even more. I really like that game. And we played a really old version, so I can't wait to play the new one. But it is rated 332 on BGG, which is sad. This is a classic. I don't know when it came out. I think like the 60s. Like, it's an old game. But dang, this game is good. And it belongs in the top. Shoot, I like it better than Splendor in that. And I said those belong in the top 200. So 349 is just bad. This belongs in the top 200 also. So that's my number 16, Acquire. Let's move on to number 15. This is the only game that I give a 7 out of 10. The only game I give lower than an 8. Everything else is an 8. This one's a 7. Still a good game, just not very good. I don't want to play all the time like all the other ones. I can play, you invite me to play it, I'm playing those. This one, I'm a little more hesitant. I do love this game though, and it's more of a filler feeling game. It's so fast, and it's racing. You'll see racing's another theme that I just love. And Dr. Reiner Knizia. This is Formula Motor Racing, and this one is sad. This is ranked so low, but it does belong a little lower. Like I said, it's not quite as good. And when you start getting in those 7 to 6 ranges, like all the board games on the website kind of merge into there. So it kind of makes sense that it's lower, but this just hurts my feelings seeing this low of a score, because I think it belongs at least in the top 1,000. 3,096 is where it is on the Board Game Geek. That is sad. I know it's a simple game. You literally just have 2 cards, and you're playing cards are either moving people back or moving yourself forward. And by the time everybody's out of cards, you want your cards in the front, and whoever gets the most points, depending on where you finish, is the winner. It's so simple. If you like a racing theme, but you want something that just takes up small table space, the game is really good still. So yeah, that's my number 15 of Formula Motor Racing. All right, now we get to my number 14. My favorite designer made this game. You are Vikings. You're placing workers. You got storehouses to fill. You can explore. You can literally do everything a Viking can do in this game. But it's still a Euro game. Like, I don't even know how you can get that much theme into this game. And it's great. And this is A Feast for Odin. I give this one a 9 out of 10. And the people on BGG give it an 8.1. Now that's sad. This game is definitely higher than that. And it's 23 overall, all right? It's rated really high still, ranked 23 overall. This is A Feast for Odin. And it belongs in the top 20 at least. I mean, it's like my number 9, I think right now. It fluctuates. No, it's probably higher than that. It might be to my number 6. I can't remember what it was earlier in the year when I did my top 100. I can put that video right here if you want to see my top 10 videos or top 10 games of all time. I'll put it here. And A Feast for Odin, spoiler, is in my top 10. I just can't remember where it was. But yeah, that game is good, and seeing it rated less than 8.5 makes me sad. All right, I understand that it's good. That's why it's not too high up on my list. When I start getting into the top 10s where it's getting crazy, and you got to make sure that you're prepared for it, because at that point it's not subjective anymore. But that was my number 14, A Feast for Odin. My number 13 has a really cool engine building concept to it. You are literally starting out with 2 dice that are like Legos, and they start with crappy faces on them, and you get to roll it and get some gold and get some moons and suns, and then buy better faces, buy some cards that give you combos. And this is Dice Forge, where you literally are forging your dice. You buy faces of the dice, you flick off the old face, and you put on the new one, and you're like, dude, now I can roll a 6 gold instead of 1 gold. So awesome of a game. This one is pretty underrated. It's 7.23 on BGG. I give it an 8 out of 10. And this one kind of hurts too. 415th overall. This game belongs in the top 200 in my opinion. So 415 is too low. And that is my number 13, Dice Forge. So let's get into my number 12. Now this game is more of a niche game, so I understand why it's slightly lower, but this is still sad. I've only played it one full time, which is sad. I've started to play it and stuff, but I love this game and nobody else does, it seems like. So this hurts. I rated it 8 out of 10. This is the NASCAR themed board game. If you like drafting and big pack of racing, and I think you can even get like 40 cars on track on this game somehow. If you're playing the right amount of player count, it switches depending. We've only ever played it at 2, me and Janella, and I think she even beat me too. But yeah, this is Thunder Alley. I give it an 8 out of 10. It is given a 7.3 on BGG, which I think is a little sad. I think it belongs at least a little higher than that, and therefore it's rated or ranked 952 overall. This, oh my gosh, now that's it's better than that. It is definitely a top 500 game of all time. It has to be. Now, I'm not even saying that subjectively. I mean, it belongs in the top 500. This game is so thematic. You got so much different things. It's less strategy though, because there is stuff that can happen to you and stuff. It's more of the, do you want to feel like you're in a race car or in multiple race cars basically? This is the racing game for you. Thunder Alley. All right, my number my number 11 is a newer game, but man, we just love this game. I've played it probably out of all the new games that we got this year. I've played it the most, I think. I could be, no, there's one other game that we got that is also on this list. All right, so this one I think is the second most played game from us this year. And this is tile placement, and you get some animals, and you get to put those in those tiles, and you're trying to make big habitats. You're trying to score, animals score differently. This is the 22 Spiel des Jahres winner, Cascadia. And Cascadia, man, I give it a 9 out of 10. This game is great. You can teach it to literally anybody. We played with like a 5-year-old, and she kept up with us in points. We did play the family variant, but still, like, dang. So I'm saying that you can definitely play this. Shoot, you could even play it possibly with a 4-year-old. They're not going to score as well, but they will be able to play. Literally, you grab a tile, you put it there, you put an animal on top of the animal. It's so simple, but man, this game is good. They give it a 7.9 on BGG, and that's just a little bit sad. This game already is 45th overall, though, so I think that's kind of fair. I think it's definitely top 50 worthy, but probably not super high up because it's not that big of a game. But man, the strategy and stuff in it, it's just so good. So that's my number 11, Cascadia. All right, my number 10 is going to start a war in the comments. You got to let me know which side you're on, because you're going to know what side I'm on here. It is a classic that was invented in 1995, and it basically made Eurogaming into the US, I think. I'm assuming, I'm not 100% sure, but this game, you get to build roads, settlements, and cities, and rob people and stuff. This is Catan, and where this is rated is sad, because this is literally a classic game. I give it an 8 out of 10. I used to give this, I had it at one point a 10 out of 10. I've slowly marked it down, and it's come down to an 8. It might have even been a 9 out of 10 on our top 100. I can't remember if it was. I don't think it was. But 8 out of 10 game. It's rated 7.1 out of 10 on BGG. That's a little sad. But what's even more sad, it's ranked 521. It 100%, I don't even care if you don't care for the game, it belongs in the top 500. It is Catan, guys. Without this game, man, a lot of games probably would have never even gotten made. So that is my number 10. This is objective, not subjective. Catan. Let me know which side you are in the comments. Do you think Catan's overrated or underrated? Let me know. All right, let's get into number 9. This game I really think is underrated, but it slowly went down. I used to give this a 9 out of 10. Now I give it an 8. This game, it kind of has a little Catan feeling, but less luck. Besides, you do have dice, but you get to choose which ones to pick. And you have suns that represent sun or daytime, I believe, and moons that represent nighttime, so it's harder to do stuff in the night, easier to do stuff in the sun. You get to pick 2 out of the 4 actions every turn. You got a little bit of fighting in here and different hexes. You're trying to make your tribes bigger because it's Rise of Tribes. Like I said, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's rated a 7.1 out of 10 on BGG. But this game is ranked 1,296. This is the Mammoth edition, so I don't know if the regular edition's rated higher. I think it is. But even with that, the Mammoth edition is just upgraded pieces. You don't have all the wooden, or you have wooden components instead of cardboard tokens on some. That's the only difference, so it's a little better. It looks better. This is ranked 1,296 overall. That is not good. 100% Rise of Tribes belongs in the top 500 at least. If I'm not mistaken, it should get even higher, maybe top 200, but you guys can slightly argue with that, but it's not outside the 1,000 game. So that is my number 9, Rise of Tribes. Number 8 is the newest game to my list, so that might be a little bit of new, ooh, this is fun, biased. It might slow down, but man, we've been having so much fun playing this. It's another social deduction game where you're trying to take each other out. You have 2 lives, and I give it an 8 out of 10. It is rated 7 out of 10, so our difference is a whole 1 point. It is rated or ranked 617th on BGG. Definitely belongs in the top 500. And this is Coup. Coup is a game, honestly, I thought I liked Love Letter better. I am fighting with myself now because, man, we played Love Letter and we played Coup on the same day, and I'm like, dang, which one was more fun? Because Love Letter, I mean, if you don't know what either of those games are, if you have a group that can play 4 people, I would say 4, and you want 2 smaller, fun, fast games, get both of those. They're cheap. I think Love Letter is like $10. I don't know how much Coup is, but I'm assuming it's about that price because we don't own it. We played it on BGA. But anyway, Coup, sorry, I'm trying to throw Love Letter on here. Love Letter is not as underrated, so it did not make my list. But Coup, because people love that game. Coup is a game where you have 2 different characters in your hand. There's 3 of each character, and all of them have a special ability you can do if you have it in your hand, but people can call you out and be like, I don't think you have the Duke, you can't collect the tax, and then you could be like, yeah, I do, see, and boom, they lose a life because they called you out wrong. But if they called you out and they were right, you lose one of your cards. You get to choose which one, and you're down to 1 life, and you're like, holy cow, I really need to be careful now. The cool thing about this is the little expansions too, like, make it even more insane. In fact, that's the only way it competes with Love Letter to me, is if you have the expansions. If you're playing the base game, I would say Love Letter's better, and I think people would not disagree with me on that. But man, Coup is a fun game. It does have, both of them have player elimination, okay? That is a problem for games, I understand that. But it's so fast. Like, You're only out, and it's fun to watch. So you're only out for like at max 5 minutes. So as long as people are playing on their turns and stuff. But anyway, that is my number 8, Coup. All right, let's get into my number 7. Now, this might be just because this is second edition, because I believe the first edition's in the top 100, but I can't remember. But this is, I give it a 9 out of 10. It is 7.85 on BGG, and it is ranked 171. This belongs in the top 100. It belongs probably, yeah, I'm going to say it top 50. I don't even know if the original is there, but the second edition, from what I heard, I've only played the second edition, is better. This game is the deck building starter game that brought deck building mechanic to the hobby, which is creating all of these other great games. This is Dominion second edition. How is this not in the top 100? You guys need to go and vote it and make sure it goes up, because come on now. This is Dominion. This game is so great. Like, it's deck building, but deck building feels like engine building, which makes it even more crazy. But you get to choose, like, I don't even know how to explain why it feels so good. Because you start literally with some money and some points. And you're like, all right, the game starts out a little boring. You're like, all right, I'll buy that card because I got 3 coins and stuff. 2 turns in, you get to use that card because you already shuffled your deck, and you're like, boom, I'm able to do this. Boom, I'm using my militia on you. You have to discard cards, plus a card, plus an action, plus a card, plus an action. And you just keep drawing cards and actions and everything. And I don't know why this game is so fun. Dominion second edition. My number 7. Yeah, I don't know what I was trying to say there. Number 6, this is the first game that came to mind. This is the game that made me want to make this list, because you guys might not have even heard of this game, and it is so good. Man, it's so good. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's rated a 7 out of 10 on BGG, but it is ranked 1025th. This is 100% belongs in the top 50. I think it's just because you guys haven't played it. It might be out of print now, because we did buy it a couple years ago, but man, this is the other pirate themed game, Black Fleet. You have a merchant ship going around. You have a pirate ship. It's literally merchants and marauders cut down, slipstreamed, speedy. I love both games pretty equally. It just depends on, do I want to play a big thematic one, or do I want to play a fast-paced, take that and stuff? Man, Black Fleet is good. You get your ship destroyed, no problem. You bring it back on the board the next turn. So there's no elimination or anything. But, this game's good. And then everybody gets special abilities that they get to upgrade and stuff, where you basically break the game by cheating. Like, that's how strong the abilities are. One lets you move your ship over land. Like, come on now. Oh, man, I love this game. This is criminal that it's outside the top 1,000. It belongs in the top 500. At least. Shoot, I would say it belongs in top 200. But that is my number 6, Black Fleet. Check that game out. If I don't know if it's in print. If it's not, I'm sorry. It needs to be. If they have another printing of it, hopefully it shoots up, because dang, that game's good. All right. My number 5 is the newest game to my list, and I believe I gave it a 9 out of 10 before. I've bumped it up to a 10 out of 10. Ooh, man, I love this game. It is the one we've played the most, almost 30 times, I think, already. And it's new to us for like the last 3 months, maybe less than that. This is a racing game. I give it a 10 out of 10. I only give that credit to 2 games out of 250. So that tells you how much I like this game. And both of those games are on this list. The other one's just a little higher. Anyway, this is given an 8.12 out of 10, which is a really good rating. It's in the top 100 right now. It's 60th overall. But this is the best, no doubt about it now. I had some doubts, and then I played it. This is the best racing game of all time. You cannot argue that. This is Heat, pedal to the metal, 100% best racing game of all time that's out right now. And I like Thunder Rally. I like so many other games. Okay, I could be wrong. There's one other racing game that didn't come to mind. This is the best, simpler racing game. More arcadey style. If you want more simulation, there's one other one. But anyway, this game is amazing. No, I'm still going to say it's the best racing game of all time. But anyway, let's start with that. It's 60th on BGG. I'm assuming it's going to keep going up because this game is a top 50 game. In fact, it's been on the hotness list of BGG for like over a year straight. I've got on there and I've seen it on there. About the same amount of time as Ark Nova. Ark Nova's ranked 4th right now, which I get it. It's a loved game. That ain't going to make my my underrated game list for sure. I love Ark Nova too, but that game is rated fairly fair. I mean, it might be the 4th best game of all time, but shoot, Heat Pedal to the Metal belongs top 20. I'll give it top 20. I want to say top 10, but that's a hard one because a lot of people don't care for the racing mechanics, but man, the upgrade cards, and after you add all the modules, the slipstreaming to pass corners, and oh man, the push your luck with the stress cards, man, this game is good. If you like racing, this is the game I would say start with because it is my Formula D killer. I'm probably never going to play Formula D again because this game is just so much better than it, and I loved Formula D. We have all the expansions, literally the track pack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to Formula D, and now we don't even get to use it anymore because Heat Pedal to Metal is just better. But anyway, that is my number 5. My number 4 is by the same 2 designers as Heat Pedal to the Metal, and this is their game that basically brought the mechanics first. It is a bicycle racing game where you have a sprinter and a rouleur, I think is how you pronounce that. I don't know, I'm not French. But anyway, I give it a 9 out of 10. It is given a 7.5 out of 10. It is ranked 244. This is definitely a top 200 game, no questions asked. I think I'd even put it in the top 150 for sure. This is Flamme Rouge. I don't know why it's not rated higher because unlike Heat, I mean, I think Heat's the better game, but unlike Heat, Flamme Rouge, every single person that I've ever played Flamme Rouge with has loved the game. Everybody's loved this game. I've never had anybody be like, oh, that game sucked. So the fact that it's outside the top 200 is sad. Like, if you like racing and you like, I mean, it's another push your luck, trying not to get exhausted. You want to be like second place most of the time. You really don't want to take the lead because then you get these exhaustion cards that make you tired. But oh man, this game's good. It is really good. That is my number 4, Flamme Rouge. My number 3 is the greatest board game of all time. So the fact that this is not rated number 1 is why it's underrated, but I understand. It's still rated decently, so I can't put it too high. I wanted this to be number 1 on my list, but I can't. I give it a 10 out of 10. It is 7.8 out of 10 on BGG, and it is ranked 64th. This is even better than a Feast for Odin to me. I know a Feast for Odin you could do more stuff, but man, the player interaction and stuff in this game of I'm gonna go use your building, I'll pay you to use it, but now you can't use it even though you bought it so you can use it. Like, oh man, it's so good. This was the Monopoly killer to me. I know it doesn't really feel like Monopoly, but it feels like what Monopoly should have been. You get to build buildings and then you get to use them. And man, this game is so good. The best Uwe Rosenberg game in my opinion. You still gotta feed your people. This is Le Havre. Le Havre, man, this game, oh man. If anybody ever said, let's play it, you comment in the comments, let's play it on Tabletop Simulator, I'm probably gonna play it. I've taught this game to tons of people. I don't usually lose. I don't know, I just love this game. Maybe that's why it's high up there, because I seem to win sometimes, but there's just so much strategy too. It's like you only have 2 actions. You literally move your worker or you grab one of the resources. So simple of a game, yet it's almost heavy because of the strategy to it. It gives me the same feel in a way as Brass Birmingham, and the fact that Brass is number 1, people are sleeping on Le Havre because it literally gives you the same feel in my opinion. I love both games. But Brass is not underrated because it's ranked number 1. So it couldn't make my list. But man, Le Havre's good. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is a game that a lot of people probably never heard of, even though it's still in print, I'm pretty sure. And it's not a social deduction. Everybody is the same thing. You're all shipwreck crew people trying to escape an island. But it is it's basically, do you want to become the traitor type of thing? Because this is, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's only 6.6. That's a sad rating. And that knocks it out of the top 2,000. It's 2,334th. This is my second most underrated game because it belongs in the top 1,000, let alone 2,000. I mean, that's sad. This is Galapagos. Man, this game is so fun. You do have to have the right people to play with. If you play with people that aren't as fun with these more, I mean, it feels like a social deduction, so like those type of games, it could hurt your experience if you're playing with people that aren't like as into it. But man, you get to either, I mean, you're trying to get food and water so you guys can buy enough time for somebody to build a boat. But shoot, you could build a boat and then somebody could be like, nah, I'm going to shoot you and now I'm going to use the boat. Like, it's insane. It's cooperative until the food runs out and then everybody's just doing everything to try to survive. Like, oh man, it is a great game. I need to get the expansion to this because there's an expansion that we've seen in the store a few times and we're like, we don't get this game to the table anymore enough. So, but man, this game is fun if you like those type of social, it's not social deduction, but it feels like it. Man, that game's good. That is Galapagos, my number 2. My number 1 most what am I trying to say? Underrated, jeez, game of all time is another racing game. And if you like the more simulation aspect of it, I would say this is the best racing game of all time. But like I said, Heat is just so fast and stuff. It's got that. This is my second favorite racing game. And my more serious one. And I give it a 9 out of 10. BGG gives it a 7.9 out of 10. So not terrible, but 1,944th ranked is terrible. They just printed out a second edition that I want to get, but it's so expensive because you can only get it wholesale from the company in, I think, the UK or something, so I'd have to ship it all the way over here. It's so expensive. You have to pay in euros or something. But man, the game is good. I mean, obviously they'll take dollars and switch it, but oh man, this game is good. Race Formula 90. I really want to get the second edition. It's a bigger box, so that's why it's more expensive. It comes with the first 2 expansions. And then, obviously, I want to get the other expansion, too, because it adds so much better AI cards and stuff. Like, if you like Heat Pedal to the Metal, and you like the AI is racing with you, Race Formula 90, you can have, like, 11 AI cars if you're by yourself. Like, double the cars on track. You can have 12. Or you can play with you and your loved one and 10 AI cars and you're just, oh man, it's so good. And their movement is fast. It's literally, this car is this color, it moves that many spaces. Like, it's that fast. So you have some slow ones that you're going to outlap. You have some fast ones. And then they just came out with the new expansion, has like ultra super fast ones that are hard to beat. Like, all over the place. Like, oh man, I really want to try it. I haven't got to. The game looks so much better now too. We never owned this game either. I've only played it online, so it's kind of sad because I really like this game. Race Formula 90. You got what tires you want to pick. You got the weather. You got, shoot, then the second edition comes with 6 tracks, and then there's an expansion, add 2 more. So there's 8 tracks out for it. Man, that game is good. That's my number 1 most underrated game of all time, Race Formula 90. You guys need to let me know in the comments below, what are your most underrated games? Did I miss anything that I've played and you're like, dude, how'd you miss that? You love this game or something. I don't know. Or whatever. What game do you think's underrated? Let me know in the comments below. Smash the like button, ring the bell. Let me know what top 10 or even 20 list you want me to make next. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me on stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some disagreements on some of these games. A lot of my lower stuff, but I really wanted to fit in some of my top 15, so I'm like, you know what, let's make it a top 20. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.